Hello world, how are you doing today? I've got my coffee ready to go, my fit blogging cup, so I am ready to rock and roll. At some point, maybe I will film one of these at night so I can actually have a beer or a glass of wine, but obviously it depends on the time of day. We don't want to start drinking at like 9:30 in the morning when we have to go to work, right? So we will stick to the coffee. So when I was titling this video, all I could think of was like a TLC show. Since, you know, they have all of those, like, I'm a blah, 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 either on TLC or other channels, so I thought this was totally gonna lead into one of those. But anyway, so let's just pretend like TLC music is flying by. It's hard for me to talk about a lot of the eating components that kind of led me to become 230 plus pounds to begin with. And thankfully through the blog and through the video blog here through the Dani's Dishes, I've been able to open up more and more about it. And I think that has allowed me to actually come to terms with what caused all of that to happen and how I can actually go to fix it. So I think one of the biggest things that I had to kind of come to realization with, if you will, and it's something that I've known for a while, I've just never kind of vocalized it, but during my run yesterday, I was thinking about how I just need to put it out there, and it's totally true. I am 100% a closet eater. And what annoyed me was that I actually was reading I looked up Urban Dictionary, like, what is a closet eater? And I know that people can post these themselves, but the person posted a fat person that eats in private. And it's like, it doesn't have to be a fat person to do that. Like, anyone can be a closet eater. You know, it doesn't actually have anything to do with what their weight is. It's all psychological and mental and that component of it. And it's been something that I've done as long as I can remember. I can definitely remember in high school, like coming home from school and like eating snacks and whatnot, like before my parents got home, hiding the wrappers, definitely, you know, going through drive-thrus and then like throwing everything away, like throwing the evidence away. Clearly it never happened. Or, you know, putting wrappers like underneath all of the other trash in the trash can so that no one would be any of the wiser. And, you know, I never became that person that was like hiding food under my bed. I mean, I would obviously just like hide it under my sweatshirt to bring it to bed if I was home, but I remember also like when I moved to Chicago in 2008, I was totally obviously by myself living in a studio apartment, and I would just like wake up in the middle of the night, be sad, and just like eat Tostitos. And it's like no one had any idea of what was going on. It made me feel better in the moment. But really, it's not good. It's not like I was sitting there like eating grapes or apples or things at night. It was all like very high caloric food. And it was hard to be able to come to realize or to actually like admit to myself that there was a problem. And I had kind of gotten it under control by the time I moved back to Boston from Chicago in 2012 because my wife was being a huge help because I didn't really, I mean, she was there, so it was harder for me to like sneak eat when someone else was with me. And the other thing was I had started Weight Watchers, so I was tracking and I was like writing and owning my decisions. And when we moved back, we actually moved in with my parents because we moved back very quickly and didn't have an apartment yet. And you know what was really interesting is that I found myself immediately back into the old routine. Like I was like hiding things and I was finding snacks because obviously my parents had snacks that I hadn't put in my own house for a very long time. So a lot of tempting food and things like that. So I realized is that was like triggering me to do it again. The other thing is that, you know, working for Weight Watchers and doing blogging, I spend a lot of my time alone during the day at home, and it's so easy to just have the kitchen calling you or to like buy some snacks and have no one know that I would buy them, eat them, and like get rid of the garbage. So no one would have to know what was going on except me. And it's something that it's hard to deal with, it's hard to recognize, it's hard to admit, but it's something that I need to work on. And I don't want to say like I'm a recovering closet eater because I still find myself doing it. And what's interesting is now at least I recognize it. And I get really angry with myself when it happens because I feel like I should be strong enough to overcome it. But I know that it is years and years of habit and it's a safe thing that I go to for comfort. I mean, it ends up being emotional eating in the end, in my opinion. So what I've been trying to do is think of ways to get around the closet eating. So I mean, one of the biggest things that I do is buy things portioned, pre-portioned already. Because at least for me, when it comes to like the closet eating, there's something about having to open a second bag, even if it's like a little mini bag, that makes me stop and think. And it's the same thing with like a big bag of chips or whatever, cookies, like things like that, whatever it might be. So if I buy them pre-portioned, I'm more apt to stop because there's something in my brain that recognizes multiple bags is like a problem. Does it always work? No, but at least that's one of the things that has helped me. Another thing is still tracking it. So if it ends up happening, like I had a 17-point snack attack last week, and instead of just ignoring it and pretending it didn't happen, I actually tracked it, and it allowed for a little more self-compassion than I normally have. So it allowed me to like know what was going on, accept it, and move on. So definitely still writing it down is another thing. And really the biggest thing is starting to be open about it. There's a ton of support out there. I am obviously here for everyone whenever you need help. And so knowing that there are people out there or there's a way to voice those concerns and just be able to be open about what is going on has really helped. So for me, that's the biggest thing about today is just to be like, you know what? I'm a closet eater. I know I have that problem. It's not something, it's lessened over time with how often it happens, but it still is something that I recognize, and especially knowing that I'm home alone, like I need to keep myself in a safe space. The other thing I have tried to do is eat to a schedule. So especially like during the day, like trying to, if I am home, only eat at certain times, because that kind of keeps me in a routine and helps me to stop straying and just kind of like picking and things like that. And granted, like it's not even like I have the high caloric food in my house that I used to have, but it's like I'll eat anything when the like mood strikes. So even if it's saying keep those things out of the house, it doesn't matter. Like I can overdo it on whatever, rice cakes, like whatever's in the house, it can still happen. So if you are feeling the same way, feeling like you need help, reach out. I am here. There are resources out there. There are people out there that you are not alone. And that's the biggest thing to know, is that you are not the only one fighting this, because there are many people out there. It's just being able to be open and to reach out. So I am always here for help. And it is safe to say I am Dani. I am a closet eater and I am working to recover. All right. Thank you guys.